She literally turned around. I looked up. Now she's scooting behind the bamboo now, eh?
Hi, I'm Arthur Meeker with Who You Know podcast, and this is Mike Sublett with Oddmo's Pizza, the co-host, and I'm with Extreme Graphics. And here we have a special guest that we're very thankful that he lets us use his space here.
Yes, home away from home.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Vince Ventura with Guild Mortgage, Senior Loan Officer. There we go. Been in the business since 1998. Had a passion for this since I got into it. Love helping the families and stuff like that. And Mike and I go back a long, long ways. I met him and Sam quite a few years ago, back, 25 years ago?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there when you guys jumped into the dough business, pizza business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we opened 99.
99, yep. So I started in 98, and I think they're one of my, I joke with him, one of my first victims back in the days, but
yeah. He still has the scars.
Yeah, he still has the scars.
I love that.
The wounds, yeah.
So you've been in the business for a long time.
Yes.
And before with Guild Mortgage, how much longer before that?
I was actually in the coatings division where I actually sold paint coatings.
Oh, cool.
So I worked into a paint store where I actually just went in and it was over the counter, working with the public and the contractors, putting their needs together and stuff. And then again, being the gift of gab, as they say, I turned into an outside salesman, took off and didn't look back after that, and so I had one of the largest accounts that we had in the Salem area, from state and city and different things like that I held. And then from there, they even moved me up to what they call a dealer salesman, where I went out and started calling on big box offices and stuff, Lowe's, those kind of places, different places in Oregon and Washington. Did a lot of traveling, and did that for, I don't know, probably 15, 17 years, and then decided to buy a rental one day, and I walked into a mortgage company shop and filled out the application, got approved, and about the time I walked out, the guy that was working with me, good colleague of mine, unfortunately he passed away here a few years ago, but told me, he said, "You ever think about getting in the mortgage business?" And I says, "No," and he says, "You'd be really good at it." And he says, "Would you like to meet the head honcho that's involved with this?" And I said, "Yeah," and within 24 hours, I'm sitting down at the Brick downtown, the old Brick, and boss walks in, buys you a beer, it's kind of old school, and next thing you know, you're up to doing some classes in Portland, and I think we had 20 loan officers in training, and my first year I came out, I was Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
So, and I didn't look back.
That's really impressive.
It's been a fun ride.
I do know that doing business in the Salem area, and anytime real estate's mentioned, your name is mentioned for mortgage. So it seems like everybody knows you. And so that gift of gab is really paid for you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah,
I love that.
And hopefully it's all good. So yeah,
I never heard anything bad.
I joke, but
except when I talk to Mike.
Yeah.
When I talk to Mike, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah. No, but I get involved with a lot of the stuff in communities, from Boys and Girls Club, Habitat Humanity. We've got everything from the Chamber, Salem Kaiser, the MVAR, Mid Valley Association Realtors, Salem Home Builders. The list goes on, and it's just it's one of those things. And I was raised in a Catholic school. You do to others as others do unto you, and so you give that service to people, and that trust. That's a lot of it. You're not just selling an item. You're selling the American dream. Yeah, which is a house. It's something everybody wants, and it's like I tell people, you can run out and go buy a $50,000 car typically all day long, even day after bankruptcy anymore, it seems like. But go out and buy a $500,000 home, it's a different story. And so no, it's been an honor. I've really enjoyed working with the public. Our networks group that we're in, that's a wonderful...
Networks of Salem.
Yep, Networks of Salem, thank you. Yep. And that's a wonderful group. Nothing but professionals in there, and it's a great marketing company that we work with. I really have been honored to be chosen to be in that group. I know we've had some members that have been in that for 30 years. I understand it's the longest running Network Group.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I understand. I haven't been there that long myself.
Yeah.
I've only been in there for about 10 years now.
Yep.
And I actually changed my business, the way I do things, and market my company to be in that group every Thursday morning, which is
Yep.
a huge honor to be in that
Yes.
group.
And for those that are watching, I'm telling you right now, we are looking for new people to come into this group, and they have the best breakfast at Illahee every Thursday morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, they knock it out of the park with their breakfast. That alone pays for your dues, I'm telling you, every Thursday. Mike's been there as a guest too.
I think that's why Mike comes as a guest now, even
breakfast.
though Charles is there representing Oddmos.
Yeah.
I think Mike just shows up for the breakfast.
Yeah. It takes
Is that
a lot
true?
to get me out of bed that early in the morning. And
Yeah.
It's that bacon. The
that's-
bacon's really good there.
Oh, they always have something different. Every time
Yeah.
I've gone, they've had some kind of a different specialty item and stuff. They had, I think the last time I went, they had eggs Benedict and stuff,
Yeah,
which was good. And so that's what I always liked about it. But yeah, you're right. Breakfast is a good puller.
Yeah, I know that the group is so dynamic because they only allow one type of business per category,
Correct.
one business per category in there.
Right.
And so, and it's really dynamic because we have such a great selection of business people in there that can help each other out and grow and stuff like that. And it's a great way to grow your business. But you're also, the one thing I look at it is it's about relationships.
Correct.
Like if I wasn't in that group and you never joined, we would have never become
wouldn't be here
friends.
today.
Same thing with Mike.
Right.
That's how our relationship started is through that group.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the thing I like about networks is when you think about the longevity of it and all of the people that have been there for a while, they're at the top of their category in so many ways, and so you have kind of resources that you can't find in a group of people that have already been through pretty much everything at this point, and they're very seasoned and very talented at what they can do, and you can pull a lot of information, a lot of advantages from having that kind of a group all in one place. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a commitment too. Is being there on that Thursday, and it's 6:30 a.m. is when you want to get there at 6:15.
Yeah.
Pretty much shake everybody's hand. We have a regular routine type thing. 6:30, then hey, breakfast is served. But you're up at 5:30, and so it's a commitment, and it's to have those people committed to that every Thursday showing up out there. And there's times that we can't show up, and we might have an alternate that I'll have to cover for us from time to time, and things happen. But it's just like us. We're using your graphics. If I hadn't have met you, Guild Mortgage wouldn't be having their graphics. Type thing.
Well, what's interesting too, though, is they're very stringent out there as far as and I think that is an attribute to the kind of businesses that we have in the group.
Correct.
It's like, listen, our standards are very, very high,
Right.
and you're going to be held accountable for what you bring to the group, and
Right.
and that's something that you think would be people would be like, wow, it's they kind of ask a lot out of me, blah blah blah. But when you think about that, you kind of weed those people out that are like,
Yep.
like this. You want people that are going to stay at a high standard the whole time, and so I think it's a fantastic group.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
how many years you been in it?
I've been a year and a half now. Is how long I've been in there
That's
now.
because
Janine Marshall
Janine
used to be
Marshall's
in there,
been
and
there.
she had been there, I believe, like 25 years. She was
Yeah.
one of the long timers, and she retired, and she called me up and said, "Vinny, hey, I'd love to have you take my spot," and I was honored to have her ask me to do that, and that worked out great. And I know we've had a colleague, not to mention names, but she had been there for quite some time, one of our real estate agents, and had a little bit of a health issue there, and so we've had to pull in a new real estate agent. So we brought in Jordan Hill. She was just elected here last week to be our new agent amongst a group. So we're all excited to have her in there. She's young, very motivated, and she's into podcasts, and she's a networker.
She's definitely a networker.
Yes.
She's really big in networking and making connections with people, and she's
That's
outstanding.
good,
She's
yep.
a bright star for that. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hey, I wanted to ask you. So I know that with the market changed a lot in the last couple of years. How's that affected you?
It's been an interesting ride. Like I said, when I got in this in 98, it was a great time. House prices were down to 185,000. Rates were down. We had massive inventory. So, we were just knocking them out of the park at the time. Literally we were busy. You could close, 30 deals a month. Today, some loan officers are just getting by with 2 or 3 deals a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a complete makeover is what's happened. And then we had the 2008 market that hit. And that was when the mortgage meltdown happened. Bernie Madoff got thrown in jail, and you had all your subprime banks and stuff go under. Countrywide Home Loans was the biggest company out there. They went under. You got what was it? Washington Mutual or Wells Fargo, those guys that went down.
Yeah.
Washington Mutual, I should say, excuse me, but they went down, and so that was a huge turning point in our industry. Then 2017, 18, that area, we kind of had the refi market that went through. We all saw some low rates, historical rates, and this is a challenge that we've never seen in our industry. So they've kept the mortgage rate history over the last 100 years. We never saw 2.5%. 2.75, 2.2% interest rates ever in history, ever. And so when that hit, everybody ran out and bought a home that they could, and everybody that was in a higher rate refinanced.
Yeah.
To this day, 60 to 65% of all those people in our database and across everybody's databases have those low 2 and 3% interest rates.
Wow.
They are not about to sell in this market and go into a 6% rate.
Yeah.
They're not needing to refinance, and that's why you're starting to see a lot of what we call the HE loans or the HELOCs, which are your second mortgages. Why touch your first mortgage when it's at a super low rate and you've been paying on it for 10 years? So you went from a 30, now you're into a 20. There's no reason to redo it over and re-amortize back to a 30-year note again.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. So about 65% of our business is pushed back there. So we don't have the home sales, the inventory because of that. People aren't putting their houses on the market. We don't have that refi market, so that's really taken a toll. So to get to where your question was, is how does it affect the market? It's been a tough ride. I really believe this market right now is as bad or could be worse than 2008. No joke.
Well, they still don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say, is it similar, like in just, the impact?
Yeah.
Or is it just, how similar as far as it's because they're two completely different scenarios.
Right.
But it has the same kind of.
It still has the same type of impact to it. Yeah. We had the boom that we had in the 2008 and all the foreclosures and everybody was buying homes, 50 cents on the dollar, and it was crazy. And now home prices are so high and interest rates are so high, it's hard to get your borrowers to get qualified. Honestly, to have a single person come in years ago and buy a house, it was a no-brainer. It was simple, pretty much. Today, you got to be banking some coin to be out on your own, to be able to come in with the down payment and to be able to make the payment. The average house payment is $3,000 a month for a $400,000 home, give or take, for today. And that's up there. And
have you seen any trends? I just heard about this on the street talking to people. Trends where because it's really expensive for young people to get into homes, where multiple young people are going in on buying a house. Have you seen any of that? I just kind of heard about that. It intrigued me because I have kids that are approaching the age that they might want to think about buying a house or something like that, and so have you seen where younger people are getting together or other people are getting couples or whatever buying a bigger house together and sharing it? Have you seen much of that going on?
Yeah, and it's a good question. And we have not seen hardly any of that stuff in the past, but what we're seeing now is we're seeing a lot of the parents step up to the plate and co-sign for their children because they need that income to help qualify. So they know that child may not be able to make that house payment, but what they're also doing is their 3-bedroom house, they're renting out the other bedrooms for $700, $800, $900 a month. That helps subsidize that house payment.
Yeah.
So if they are in let's say a $2,500 payment and they can get maybe $900, okay, now we're down to a $1,600 payment. You're going to pay that in an apartment today to rent an apartment.
Yeah.
We do find I've got a deal right now, matter of fact, that mom and son are buying a place together. That they're getting something. I've had 2 sisters actually go in and buy a duplex together. One bought one side, one bought the other, which worked out great.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I do know also we had a Latino loan officer here working with us, and it's very common for that culture and that family with a lot of them moving together. That's kind of how they were raised in a way speaking. And so she did a lot of stuff where they'd have a lot of the family members move in together. You might have 3 or 4 co-borrowers. Yeah, great, it works out. Boy, you want to talk about the work on a file though, instead of just documenting the client, you've got 4 individuals you're having to document from, credit, income, assets, and all that other stuff. And so it's a lot more work, and guess what? It's the exact same paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But you're taking care of the families, and that's why we stepped up the plate. That's what we're in this business
I remember
for.
when we first got together, you used to have a board. and you had all these names listed down there and where they were at in their process and all that, and you just had this huge whiteboard
Yep.
that you kept track of all of it. And I was always really impressed with that whiteboard. I was like, wow.
Technology has changed. The only difference is I now have it on a grid on my computer.
There you go.
So I
There
still
you
have it
go,
to
yeah.
this day, and I do. My processor, Amy Nelson, she's a rock star, and Shannon Geese, she's my not the underwriter, but she's. Let me back up. Shannon's a processor, but Amy's my assistant, is what I should say. And then I have our underwriters out there. So basically, what I do is I take the file, I put it together, I give it to Amy, who's my assistant. Amy takes and she makes sure that we've got all our ducks in a row, and then she may ask for a few more things, and she packages it up, and then from there she'll actually send it directly up to Shannon, who's the processor at that time, and then Shannon puts that all together and makes sure she's got it all dialed in, and it goes to the underwriter. So for me, to my assistant, to the processor, to the underwriter. So those are 4 sets of eyes that you're looking at a file. And the cool thing about Guild Mortgage, we've been around since 1960.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're one of the old schools that have been around. We're a portfolio lender. We actually hold our notes. You make your mortgage payment to Guild Mortgage or whoever at the time. And so which is nice is we're a one-stop shop. You come in, you deal with Vince Ventura. From there, it goes right to my assistant, Amy, who's right in the office. From there, it goes to Shannon, to the underwriter, and your package never leaves. Unlike a lot of the other people in this industry, they're brokers,
Right.
so they might have to broker it out to 10, 15 different people out there. And when you do that, you don't know who you're brokering it to. You don't know the processor, you don't know the underwriter. We have a complete relationship to where I can even call up on their cell phone at nighttime, and they will answer their telephone.
Oh, wow.
That's what's insane. But the tracking board, that's what I still use. Amy, my assistant, she's got a tracking board. I've always been very analytical. I mean, you line your soup cans up, A to Z, labels out, the old tune. And so I have that. And so on my grid, I actually show it where I do a loan start, when we disclose to them, when we've got the disclosure signed, did we order the appraisal, did it come in, the prelim, the insurance binder, in underwriting. I mean, it's from start to finish, the funding. And that board, I still have that board. It's just on a big grid on my computer. And every morning I look at it.
Well, yeah, I'm a huge dry erase board person because I like to have the information. I can pull strategies from here and there, and in the process of what I'm doing, I can move things and rewrite. It's just, I have like
I know you're a
5
big
dry
dry
erase boards.
erase board guy.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Can't sit in a chair long
we're going
enough.
to take a moment for a commercial here, and I know you can see me over here, but I came over here yesterday and opened this thing up, and in there it says, "Have you ordered your utmost pizza lately?" I don't know how long that's been on my board, but I got a feeling Mike probably did that. So.
Well, it has a smiley face.
Yeah, I
with it,
know.
so,
I got a check out of that. I was actually showing some folks the room
Hey.
yesterday and opened it up and I saw that. And I got
That
a
is good business. Never miss an opportunity to market your company.
yeah.
That's really good business.
No,
I love that.
I was impressed with it. So, but
You know what? At home, I use dry erase markers on the mirrors.
Oh,
Like say,
do you? Yeah.
I'll say "I love you" with a little heart or
oh,
something.
good for you.
Aw.
Yeah.
So different little places like that,
Yeah.
So
That's
go
cool.
around, you be open
It's those
every
little
cupboard.
touches, yes.
Yeah. Well, I just know that it's just like you say. It's just like catch somebody off guard, like, oh my gosh,
That's so funny because I always, when my wife travels and goes and does retreats, or she
Yeah.
goes and visits her best friend or whatever, I always put little notes in the briefcase, in her suitcase, and we have this, we share actually a family crest after we got married, and this tattoo.
Oh, the tattoo,
and
yeah.
she has one matching it, but I made a really cool plaque out of acrylic on our laser machine, and she has it on her nightstand, and when she's packing and getting ready, I slip it in somewhere in her suitcase, and so she always has that with her when I always do little
Yeah.
things like that, just fun things.
I had a note up on my thing is the other day from my wife, says, "Get out."
Oh,
I
Lord.
love it. I love
I'm
it.
kidding. I'm just joking.
So for
I
all
can
you
believe
men
it.
out,
I believe
Yes.
it, though. I believe it.
yeah. So I was going to say, for all you men out there, I hope you're taking notes on all this. So yes, this is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But don't use her lipstick to make a note on the mirror. I just want
No.
to put that out there.
No.
Don't use her lipstick.
No.
Keep a Sharpie in the bathroom, write a note
Yeah,
on there.
okay, yeah.
And so the other thing that I think that was really funny, I have to point this out because this is something that always stuck in my mind. From the first time I met you, you gave me a tour in here when we were doing some graphics for the office. And you said, oh, and this is my office. And your office is the most clean, organized. There's no clutter. There's nothing on his desk. Like, I thought it was one of the empty offices that are in the rest of the building. Nope. So I know you're an organized person.
No,
and you
I
like
am.
things.
It's OCD or whatever you
Yep.
want to call it, and my wife will tell you that. I mean, if you were to walk into our house, first you take, there's a sign that says please remove shoes, take shoes off. We don't have, the counters are not cluttered with coffee makers and mixers and all that kind of stuff. It's very clean. I mean, it's just one of those things, and there's not a lot of art. I mean, a lot of stuff everywhere. We're very kind of
Simplest.
Yeah, it's very simple, and I've always liked that. And it's just, I'm one of these that I walk into. I've literally walked into mortgage loan officers into their office, and they've got stacks of files sitting there, and they've got 5 or 6 files opened up on their desk, and they're working on different files at a time. And you want to talk about how to loosen personal documents or get something stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I've seen it happen multiple times. And so my theory was I take one out at a time, I work on it. When it's done, it goes back, and the next one comes out. And
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
And it's, to me, I can do a lot of things at one time. My mind is one of those that, I can be multitasking. But I also know that when it comes to my book of business, that I put 100% focus into that file, because again, we're talking some big dollars, and did I miss something? They could have got approved because I might have, done something here. So,
No,
yeah.
I know. When you pull up my file cabinet, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
I don't just have a file.
Yeah, you got a filing cabinet. I've done, I don't know, probably 7 loans for this
whole
guy.
room- a whole
Oh,
room
trust me, yes.
dedicated
I've
to
done
Mike.
7 or 8 loans for Mike, but probably more. I don't know. I forget. We lost account. But, and when you're a business owner and you've got rentals and all this, there's just tons of paperwork that goes into it. So
Yeah.
So we have to dig deep when we do his files.
And to clarify, I do not own 7 homes.
No, wait, yeah, let's clarify. It does not. He like
Yeah,
that?
this is like a.
Yeah, it's kind of
you
like
know.
cars. Jump in one seat and jump in another one.
A lot of it's just been opportunity and
Yeah.
things like that. And we're not afraid of sweat equity and stuff. And so
Right.
we've taken advantage of different things and put our sweat
Yeah.
into the houses, and then, situationally
Yeah.
move here and there. But
And
no,
your-
it is funny though.
Yeah, and your partner Sam, I've enjoyed
Yeah.
working with him too. It's always, hey boss, always
Yeah.
calls you boss.
So tell me, I'm really curious because I always like to hear stories like this, but the most difficult, can you think of the most difficult paperwork or deal that you had to get done? What did that look like? I mean,
Probably a business owner.
Well, and I don't take this personal when I say it, but your CPAs, your architects, your engineers are probably the most, and attorneys are probably the most detailed, because that's their line of business. And so,
Right.
they're a double dot, double cross the T's kind of thing. And questions and questions, but that's what we're here for. That's the thing. But my biggest challenge is I had an investor that had 74 properties.
oh, wow.
And when you do 74 properties, you have to list every REO schedule that he has on each one. Because I got to show what the mortgage is. I got to show, does that mortgage have the taxes and insurance included? What's the mortgage on it? What's the rent? On the rent, you can only use, either if it's new, 75% of the rental income, and or what's it show on the Schedule E of the rental schedule with their net income off of that. You have to break that down on each property. And that was it took me a good week just to prepare the file, just to get it into underwriting. And this is years ago. Today, they do things a little bit different in the tax world. We can take some shortcuts, but that was probably the most difficult deal that I had. And then probably besides that, the other ones were really, really tough for my past clients that I might have, and they're going through a divorce. And I know both of them on a personal note. And, it's like an attorney, you've got one on one end and you're on the other end, and I got to talk to her and I got to talk to him, and you can't favor one or the other, and you just got to be very transparent, but you also got to remember when to zip thy mouth, and
Right.
there's only so many things you can do, and so that gets to be challenging sometimes too, is when you have that going in, because
They
there's
try
a
to
lot
bring
of
you
emotions.
into the drama.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
emotions, and I'm doing one right now where it's so horrific that the poor gal's in an interest rate right now that she's 2.5%. And the husband will not let her go in and take over the existing note where she could, and he's not willing to sign off. So we're having to refinance and cash him out of the property. And she's going to be back in the 6% interest rate. She's got one kid. It's going to be a challenge for her. Her payment's going to go up almost $1,600 a month from where she's at right now. And see,
geez.
that's where it hits you. It's brutal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I just can't believe that. What do you? you said something about the dry erase board. You guys were talking about the dry erase board earlier, and that really cracks me up. But how can you tell me, like, I know when you buy a house, there's so much paperwork and stuff. Has that gotten better? Or do you see it getting any better? Or is it getting worse?
No, it's actually gotten a lot better. I love it. Yeah.
Because I
The
know
old
that,
did you used to have a tractor drive forms and stuff? Because now, like when you buy a car, do you remember sitting in the F&I office when you buy a car and they have the old tractor drive
Yeah.
forms that go click, 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 click when it prints out
Yeah.
the dot matrix or whatever.
That's a funny thing because in the old school, everything was on a 1003, which is the Universal Residential Application is what it was, and everything was hand done. We didn't do anything in the computers, and the really spooky thing is you can sure tell our world's changed. Is you get
With a
carving out
chisel on
everything
the
stone.
tablet.
Yeah, we used to be able to package these things up, and what we did is we had a thing called Transbox. And Transbox was a metal box that was bolted to the back of your building, and you had a lock on it. And at the end of the day, all your packages that we were going to send up to, let's say, like Countrywide was one of our big ones back in the days up in the Lake Oswego area. A gentleman or gal, whoever it was a courier. They'd come by after closing, and they had a key to the lock, and they would actually pick up those packages and drive them up to the bank.
Oh, wow.
That's how that was done. We had everybody's personal information in a box hanging outside our building. Could you imagine that today?
Wow.
So, and that was all on handwritten material. Today, it's completely automated. So
Right.
you go in, we send out a link to electronic online application. They go in, takes 5-10 minutes, fill it out. It's pretty simple.
well, nowadays you can sign documents. You can be in Roatan on
Exactly,
and
and
sign
that's
docs.
yes, and it's all done electronically, just like your DocuSigns with real estate agents and stuff. So they'll go in there and they'll do their online application. They can take all their personal documents from their W-2s, tax returns, bank statements, pay stubs, whatever it may be, and they can put it on a PDF and they upload it right into your portal. So at the end of the day, I'll have an application that'll pop up and say, John Doe or whoever filled out this application, and then all of a sudden it shows that they've uploaded their documents. I can go into that portal, open it up, and guess what? There's all their W-2s, pay stubs, everything I need. And so the other thing is we have automation to where we can actually get in and if, let's say, account check, we call it. And account check, if they give us the authorization, instead of giving all the bank statements, maybe you might have 5 different banks you bank with, and I need the last 2 months, all pages, starts to build up. We just get your authorization, and we can use account check and literally go in, because where we sit as the bank, in a way speaking, we can go in and pull all that information.
Oh, cool.
And it automatically comes right into us. We get it. And we can go in and pull their 4506s from the IRSs for the taxes and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, and there's a thing also called the work number. In the old days, we had to call all the employers by phone, and we lenders couldn't do it. We had to have our processors and do it because there's times the lenders were kind of hungry for a paycheck, so they'd fill in whatever they want for income. Get my drift?
Yeah.
That was when whiteout was really popular back then too, right? Okay, they don't sell whiteout like they used to. Won't go down that road. But no, seriously. So the work number, if you're a big company, for instance, Fred Meyers and Wilco or Costco or Salem Hospital, State of Oregon, City of Salem, I can go on and on and on, school district, they report to the work number. Mm-hmm. And so that information goes to the work number every month. So instead of having a few people at their work that you'd be faxing over these forms and they'd have to literally sit down and fill these things out, all that information is electronically sent to the work number.
Very cool.
I can pull up that work number and it shows what they made year to date in 2025. It'll show me if it's a base, overtime, commission, bonuses, other, whatever it might be, and it does the same for 24 and 23. I have all my information, so I just go to my income worksheet, slap that together, off it goes to Amy, and it
It's just cheating right now.
I know, isn't it great?
They're not going to know the struggle.
I know.
All the young ones coming in are going to be
No.
like, hang on, I need to get all your information.
Yeah,
Okay,
oh,
we're
yeah,
done.
pretty much.
I'll go ahead and get back to you.
Yeah, they have
You
no
know?
idea what we went
You
through in the old
scan
days.
your eye.
Do they
know,
ask you what
okay,
that
you're
set
done.
of chisels in your drawer was from?
Yeah, oh
From
yeah,
doing
right?
the towers? Yeah,
the
back in the
chisels,
day.
everything else.
Oh my gosh.
So-
Do
Yeah.
you guys do business mortgage too?
Yeah, you can get
Commercial.
in and because the people that they have their business and stuff, and somebody comes in and says, hey, I got a gentleman right now. He has a really cool business, client confidentiality, but so what he does is he W-2s himself X amount of money a year, but then he also has his business returns, and so as long as his business returns shows a profit, we can use that. Now, if his business shows that he's the great thing is having a business, as they say, you don't have to pay Uncle Sam so much, so write everything off,
Right.
show you didn't make anything, so you don't pay taxes. Well, that's great when it comes tax time, but if you're only showing maybe, $24,000 a year in net income divided by 12 months, hey, you know what? We're down a couple grand a month or here or there.
Yeah.
So that's where it can kill you. But yeah, so we actually tie it together. They've got programs out there today that, these loan programs that you can give us tax returns and we can go in, and as long as you can show money being banked out of it, or even we're back to bank allocation, bank statement loans again. So if you hand me a year's worth of bank statements and show me that, you're throwing in 60 grand a month, I can use a certain percentage of that. I can qualify you just off of bank statements and not have to use anything else.
Nice.
So they're going back. We did have the old stated income.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we called the liar's loan back then.
Yeah.
You would, I don't care if you worked for a drive-through restaurant and you worked the window and you said that you made $60,000 a year, 5 grand a month, or 80 grand. You had to take that application, and you didn't have to provide a pay stub. You didn't provide tax returns, W-2s. Yeah. You called the employer, and all you asked them legally, are they employed with you? Yes, they are. And that was called a stated, because you're stating the income. And that was brutal, and that's what created our mortgage meltdown, by the way, FYI, back in the days. And those loans are pretty much under the rug, swept under for the time being.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, what's really nice about this is, Vince, all these years I've gotten to know you from all these different scenarios and situations and all that. But I think what's funny is listening to you talk, like if anybody watches this, anybody, one or two people, anybody watches this, they're going to know that, man, having someone like you in their corner was just, it's been amazing for me. Everybody I've ever known, I've always sent your way because you're just a beast. And so it's funny, like now you're working with Angie, our realtor, and
she's
same
cool.
thing. And it took a little while for you guys to get things figured out.
Yep. Yeah, but, it's fun. Man, and the thing is, this is a changing industry. Mm-hmm. It changes. That's the thing. It's just, hey, we got the government shutdown, right? Just happened.
Yeah.
So guess what that does to us lenders out there? Well, I can't get flood certs, federal flood certs for FEMA and stuff. You can't get them. So anybody that's in a flood zone, we can't fund a loan right now. I have to have that certificate to show and everything else. USDA is on standby right now, United States Department of Agriculture. So right now they're on a standby. We're sitting there. So any of the lenders that are out there right now that are walking to closing, trying to get these closed, you're at a dead still, right? You're at standstill right now. Well, and the clock's ticking, and you have an interest rate that's locked, right? You got people that are wanting to move on the other end. And so it all falls back to the lender, and then we got to say, well, it's not us, it's a government shutdown. So Dems, Republicans, make it happen is all I can ask you.
And then there's going to be a backlog whenever it gets up and going.
Oh, correct.
They gotta sort through the piles of paperwork that's piling up.
Yep.
So that's crazy.
Yep.
I don't think a lot of people realize that when certain things happen, all the different places it affects.
Train wreck.
Like people are like, oh, so the government's not working, and they think about it in all these different things, but they don't understand that it affects you either. It's like all these different things. It's like I can't do my job now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's interesting. People like to get caught up in the whole that's good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, what was brutal.
Not necessarily.
When COVID hit. So when COVID hit, they shut everything down. So, I can't tell you how many loans that I had to cancel out that we had pre-approved that our clients could not move forward. And a lot of them were folks that were working in the restaurant business. And so they couldn't do anything for 6 months. Well, if you're out of work for 6 months and you go back to work that next day, you just don't get your loan back again because you have what they call an employment gap. And, it is what it is. And you can't use unemployment income because that doesn't count. So you're basically starting over again. And it was a real brutal situation for a lot of people out there. And that was, when you ask what were the hard times out there, the ones that you remember were tough, that was a really tough time. Because having to call a client up and say, hey, guess what? We can't get you in your house. And, you're halfway through a loan. You can't fund it. And, it was a tough time then, too.
That's crazy. It reminds me of 2010, 2011, coming out of the 08 stuff.
Yeah.
It was still hard to get a commercial loan.
Yeah.
And
brutal.
It was really brutal because when I was buying our building down in Albany, and you pretty much had to pay 90% down if you're gonna.
Yeah.
It was like unreal, and so that was crazy. But so if you were to give any advice to somebody that wants to buy a house and get a mortgage, what would your top 3 things be to tell people to get prepared for?
Well, there's four things that I did a training class, and I was with the city of Salem. We did a lot of first-time homebuyer trainings, and I do a lot of different training with different companies and stuff. But there's four things that I look at. It's kind of the alphabet: A, C, I, and P. A stands for assets. So, you know, there are zero-down loan programs out there today, but they have what they call an AMI, average median income limit that's out there. So if you make more than, let's say, for instance, $120,000, they'll only allow you to use up to 80% of that. So maybe there's a $96,000 or some $1,000 deal in there. So if you make more than that, then you don't qualify for it. And it makes good sense, because if you're making X amount of dollars, 200 grand, and you want to do a zero down, they're looking at you going, you know what, you make enough money, you should be able to put some money away. So, but the assets is the big thing. Is if you can come in with something, anytime you can, if you walk in with nothing, you're going to pay the higher rate. And it's because it's not them so much taking the risk, because you can walk in with nothing and then make a few house payments and decide you want to walk away from the house, and what have you lost? Your credit. Right. Your credit's going to go, you know, south for 2 years, but then after 2 years you can come back and buy again, even after a bankruptcy, right? But the bank's the one that's going to take the killing on it. They're going to take the heat on it. Yeah. And so that's where the risk is. That's why they're going to hit you up with that higher interest rate. So the more you can walk in, the better the rate you're going to get and get qualified, and, you know. So the assets are one thing. Credit's a big thing. People don't realize it. Credit is just brutal sometimes, and what's really tough is the student loans out there, educational loans. I worked with a gal that just came out of Willamette. She's got over $200,000 in educational loans. Yeah. So what we have to do to use she's a first-time home buyer, I have to use a 0.5% factoring on that $200,000. So on that 0.5%, so there's $1,000 a month that I've got to hit her up with minimum student loan payments, no matter what, that I got to put down on her liabilities. Even though they're deferred, I still have to hit her up with that $1,000. And if it's conventional, they use the 1% factor. So now it's a $2,000 monthly debt. So you take that plus a car payment plus some visas they got, and she comes out and she's working for an attorney's office making $6,000 a month, but you've got a $3,000 house payment, and I got to add in that $1,000 student loan. I'm at $4,000, and you can't exceed 50%. So let's just go back. The $3,000 house payment divided into $6,000 income, that's at 50%. I'm already tapped right there. Yeah. I'm not including her car payment, a visa, her educational loans. That's where it becomes real tough to get qualified with those high education loans. And so the credit's a big part of it too. And, you know, it's just, I call it, the micromanagement, in a way of speaking, is managing your money. It's just back in our days when we went to school, you know, I'm 63 and I graduated in 80. And back then we had home economics, and they taught us accounting, and we had mechanic shop.
Small engine repair.
Right, small engine repair, yeah, ripping a lawnmower apart, right?
How to write a check.
Yeah.
How to write a check.
Right. And we did, yeah, exactly. They taught us how to write checks and balance your checkbook and stuff. None of that stuff exists today. Nope. And so it's for us, the old school folks, as I say it, because we've got that light colored blonde hair, as we joke about, right? Yeah. That's like, yeah. As Arthur's over there going, yeah.
I don't know what you guys talking about. This is my style. Oh, okay. I mean, really, I got.
We pay for this platinum color.
Yeah. So there's a few factors that go into it, what they really should be looking at, and I always get asked that question. You know, should I buy now or should I wait till rates go down? And that's another big educational thing that I like to educate on, because, you know, if rates are in the mid sixes, and let's say they drop to 5% next week, guess what's going to happen? Everybody's going to jump off the fence, and they're going to want to go out and start shopping for a house. Sure. You got it. Thank you. Yep. So what's going to happen? It's a commodity. It's an item that people want, and it's going to drive the price up. And we saw that in the past, and that's what happened. So all of a sudden, that $400,000 home. Remember the bidding wars? You saw people out there bidding at $400. It went to $425, $450. House wouldn't even appraise out at $450, but they were still doing it and coming in. But all of a sudden, those appraisers, believe it or not, they were hitting those numbers for us. Probably shouldn't, but they did. And that was another brutal part, having them out there throwing those numbers. But so if the rates do drop, what's going to happen is you're going to be out there and you're going to have competing offers. And the other thing that we're seeing, if that's the case, is it's not going to be a buyer's market, it's going to be the seller's market. Today we're seeing, if I'm doing 10 loans a month, hypothetically speaking, and out of those 10, I'm going to tell you 9 out of 10, the sellers are paying concessions. And when I say that, that's towards their closing costs, buying down their rate, whatever. I'm going to tell you the average is close to $10,000 right now. That's what we're seeing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've seen them up to $20,000. Kid you not, help them buy down rates and stuff like that. Just depends how much motivated the sellers are, or have they done price reductions on their house yet, and things like that. But so buying now is great because you're buying a house at a low. I know it sounds crazy this market, but a lower price. In this market, you're getting seller concessions. Yes, you're paying a little bit higher interest rate, but let's say, a year from now, rates do go to a 5%, and everybody goes out shopping. That house that was 400 will be now 450, 475, and you're not going to get your 10 grand in seller concessions. You're going to have to walk in with more money at closing. But the cool thing is being in that house now, when that rate does change, guess what? They get a refinance and get that wonderful rate that everybody's out fighting for right now, and they just go in. And the nice thing about Guild Mortgage is we do what we call a streamlined refinance, which means if we hold your note, then we're going to give you a 0.5% discount at cost off of the new rate, and we waive some of our fees for you to help you get in there, which keeps the cost down, which is really important. And the other thing is if they were to run out and go to some other bank to refinance, we already hold their note, and we have their impound account, their taxes and insurance. So when we refinance that loan for that current client, these are the great selling points of what Guild offers out there, is that we'll only collect, we'll allow them to skip 1 month. So if we refinance and we say, okay, we're going to close your loan in October, you can skip November, first payments in December, we're skipping 1 month. So all I've got to do is collect 1 month worth of taxes and 1 month's worth of insurance. If they skip out on Guild and go to some other place because maybe they can get an appraisal cheaper or a tad bit less in an interest rate, well, they've got to collect an entire year's worth of taxes and an entire year's worth of insurance. That just raised their closing costs by $5 grand. Yeah, they get a kickback in their escrow account, but at the end of the day, they just finance $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more, and that fuzzy little low rate that they thought they had, their payment, believe it or not, is probably going to be just as much or higher, and it doesn't work for them. So,
wow, very cool.
Some great tools that we offer out there.
Yeah.
Guild, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So what are the other things that you had 4 things?
Yeah.
Ace.
Yeah. You had the assets. Excuse me. You had the assets. You had the credit. The income is the big thing. So again, that's another thing that we look at down there too. If somebody, I just had a gal just reach out and she says, "Hey, I'm working on at my place, and I'm going to be starting my new business." Put the brakes on her. Told her, "Here's the problem. You run out and you go start a brand new business. I can't touch it for 2 years. If it's a brand new business and you're self-employed, you got to have 2 years of filed tax returns. Period." Okay. In some cases, you can get by with 1, but if you go a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac, excuse me, versus a Fannie Mae, but there's a lot of different moving parts in that. But so your income is a big part of it too, also. So. How we look at stuff is the base. I can use their base income all day long, but anything that's a bonus, an overtime, or a commission, we have to have a 2-year history of showing that, and we have to average that out over a 24-month period. So somebody that might be in a job where maybe they get a $2,000 base, but they're making $6,000 a month in commission. Great, good on paper, it's $8 grand. But if they've only been pulling that commission in for 6 months, I can only use the $2,000. So that's where the income comes into play. We want to see, it's like the law of 2 years on your job. We look for the 2 years worth of the income. We look at 2 months worth of bank statements, 2 months worth of pay stubs. So a lot of things play with the 2 years in your residency or renting, that type. And then your last thing is P. P stands for property. What are we looking for? Are we looking for a single family? Are we looking for a duplex, townhome? Are we looking at manny home, manufactured home, new construction? Each one of those have different moving parts when you go into to do financing. So, one might have HOAs, one may not, those kind of things. So there's a lot of different things. So, but it's pretty broken down with the ACIP, assets, credit, income, property. Those 4 things, you can pre-qualify, not pre-approve, but pre-qualify a client right over the phone, just talking to them. And that's what I do. And if I feel that those 4 items are there, when we have that 10-minute conversations there, I said, "Hey, I'm sending you a link, fill it out, let's move forward," and that's what we do. And
I always tell people to come in, call, do something, just start the process. Know what you need to do and where you're at right now. I tell people that all the time because we work, in our business, in our company, we have that swing where they're going from being kids to adults. And I try to plant that seed early because I know that they're not ready now, but it's amazing that if you plant that seed, but I always just tell them, all you have to do is call. Just start the process of understanding what it takes. I don't think people realize, I didn't realize till I was well past 30, or not well past 30. I was just past 30,
Yeah.
but before I even considered
You're
it.
just past 30, huh?
Yeah.
Not now.
Oh,
Now
okay,
I'm
okay.
well past 30.
Yeah. No.
But it's just a
You're
lot of
right,
people I think
yeah.
don't understand. But having someone like you though has been an asset in that sense too. Because if I say just call Vince and they call you and you'll give them just not the sales pitch. You'll give them the whole, this is the way it is, this is what needs to
Right,
happen.
yeah.
Let me get a hold of you here. But I've had 3 or 4 come through that have actually been able to bridge that gap. We had Chris, the manager, my
I was
son.
just gonna say your son,
We had-
yep.
Yeah, it's just,
And some are challenges. I mean, not everybody, in the old days, I always joke about this. In the old days, because the way underwriting was and everything else was, and the economy and whatever it might be, and the house prices, if I had 10 people walk through my office, 8 out of 10 people I could approve just like that. Today, it's just the opposite. Yeah, those 8 people, I've got to really work hard, and it isn't just no slam dunk deal. You've really got to document. And I'm really good about, they joke in the office here, they say, hey, if you really need creative financing, get a hold of Vinny. He knows how to think outside that box, and it's a big box. And I do that, and that's a big part of it. And it's, in this business, I mean, it's like school, it's like a teacher. Education is one of the most important things. We can all talk numbers, and we can say you're approved or not, but it's about educating. And like, when I get the first time home buyers in, I said, do you have a 401k? Yeah. How much you got in it? Oh, I've only got, $3,000 in it. Okay. And I'm not going there to take the money out. It's the education part. I go, do you realize that when you buy a home, that value can go up 5 to 10% a year, depending on what the market is? So, you got a $300,000 home, and maybe it goes up, 5%. Okay, look at the money that you made on that home every year, just on that percentage that you're getting. That's more money that you're making in your 401k. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I know what the stock market's doing right now. We're banking coin out there. I mean, our returns are 15 to 35, 40% on some of our investments right now, which is awesome. But no, that's one of the things that I like to educate them on, letting them know that this is not just you're trying to get out of paying rent. This is an investment. This is down the road, and that also comes in. You keep a mortgage, and it's forever home. And let's say you have that $400,000 or $500,000 home, or even $300,000, and you get down to the point where maybe you only owe $50,000 on it, and you get to that age of elderly, we want to call it. There's a thing called the reverse mortgage. Mm-hmm. You can take money now back out of your property. If you need $5,000 a month, every month for the next 10 years, or however you want to line it up, guess what? If you hadn't had that house and paid into it. So to me, again, that's just another retirement account that you've got. And then also, I always joke with my clients. I said, talk to your CPA. And again, I always try to stay in my swimming lane. I call that my swimming lane. So they ask me about real estate questions, talk to your agent. If it's an insurance agent, talk to your insurance agent. It's, again, we all need to stay in our swimming lane legally, but again, ethically. But I tell them, I said, if you talk to your CPA, he or she will always tend to tell you the best 2 things in life for a write-off is your children, because you get that $2,000 tax kickback on it, and your home. Your home mortgage is a great interest rate. And I'm talking outside of self-employed business and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't realize that. I've had clients call up, and the industry standard could be maybe $3,600 a year back in your tax returns by owning a home, because of the interest you pay. Yeah. And they'll be squawking about a payment sometimes and say, hey, I can only afford $2,000, but you've got a $2,300 payment. And I say, you know what? Just as they say, bite the bullet in a way of speaking, pay the payments this year, file your taxes in January, you get that money back. Don't go buy a big screen TV because Super Bowl's around the corner. If you did just say, let's say a number, easy Mike, if you did have a $3,600 return, just throwing a round number out there, you got 12 months in a year, that's $300 a month. In January, you can pull $300 out of the account. February, March, April, May. When you get to December, there's $300 left in there. Next year, file your taxes, you got money back in there again.
Yeah.
So that $2,300 payment I stuck them into, now they've got $300 they had no idea about. Now they're down to their $2,000 payment that they're wanting to get to. And the other thing is too, unlike rent that goes up 10% a year, I believe it's 9% this year or something. I'm not too sure on that, but rent's always going to increase.
Yeah.
Your house payment pretty much stays the same unless, they start jacking their taxes up, which we've seen that's happened.
Which is really funny when you think about the interest you pay. Every single year you pay less interest and more on the
principal.
Correct. And stuff. I think it's kind of funny because that's reversed. But the gentleman, Chris, I was talking about that was managing, that he came in and got a house.
Yes,
I asked him, I had talked to him for some years. And I was out doing something he called me about. He goes, hey, Mike, I just wanted to call you about, I'm thinking about getting this truck. And I said, I'm calling you for a particular reason, you know. And so we started talking about it, and he goes, see, that's why I called you. I haven't talked to him for years.
See?
And I'm like, okay. And I go, so what? He goes, I knew you would talk me out of buying this truck because it wasn't a good idea, but everybody else is telling me, yeah, go ahead and go for it. Go ahead and go for it. But
See?
he was the one that I told about the house. I said, I have to ask you a question. I'm like, all these years I've been wondering if it was a good decision. You know, because he doesn't work for us anymore, so I don't know, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, God, I was always so worried because, you know, he was at that point where it was difficult for him to get in the house, but he got right in there.
Right.
Kind of what you're talking about, that $300 a month is kind of that, how he was going to be able to do it. And I says, I hate to ask this, but I have to ask. I'm afraid of the answer. And I said, so you bought that house. How did that work out for you? And he goes, Mike, that was the best decision I ever made. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, well, and then all my emotions are, you know? And he says, because right now I'm paying like $2,100 a month for this 4-bedroom house. He's got 3 kids.
Yep.
And it's like, he says that I've got friends that are paying, you know, 32, 38 a month for just as a rental in the same situation. He goes, man, I'm looking back here right now. I'm sitting here, I'm already like, you know, 5 years into my mortgage. And he says, man, that's just great.
No, it's good. And, you know, those are the stories that just, it shines for me. I mean, again, and, you know, we built this beautiful home out south right behind the governor's house. We got a beautiful lot that my wife, she happens to be a real estate agent, and no, we don't do business back and forth as much as we can, just FYI. We first got into business and started throwing business back and forth, and there's nothing worse than when you go home and you're at the dining table and that question comes up, or you're laying in bed at night, right? Last thing I need to hear is, hey, did the appraisal come in? Is the value there? Is it through underwriting? And so she's been in business since '98. We met 2 years after that. And I got into business in '98. A couple years later, we got hooked up. Don Meyer, great friend of mine, got in, as you know, Don too, got us hooked up. But long story short, she found a beautiful place for us. So we built the place, and we're sitting down there, and we've got 48 windows. It's just a beautiful new contemporary home, and we look right towards the West Salem Hill, down towards the Willamette River. And I looked at her and I said, see that hillside over there? She said, yeah. And I says, you know, I've got probably 3,000 past clients I've worked with in my lifetime. I said, and just in my heart, I look at that hill and think, you know, if those were all my loans, those are the families you've taken care of. And dude, that's so cool.
That's cool.
You know?
Well, this really shows, talking with you, I learned more about you, and I really enjoy that. This just really shows that you go the extra mile to help those people get that dream of owning their own house and their own property, and the extra time and effort that you put into making sure that they can get into one. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
so,
it's just, you know,
if you helped Mike's 7 times, I really enjoy that.
Yeah. We used to have some good poker games back in those days too. Yeah, it was a good old time. But yeah, like I always tell everybody, you know, I said, you know, you got your thing. The good Lord's in my eyes number 1. My family's number 2. My job's number 3, but I have a bad habit of taking number 3 and shoving up number 1 sometimes. Excuse me there, but you know what I mean? It's just, I got such a huge passion for it. I really do. I enjoy what I do, and the outcome, best thing is when you're sitting at a signing table and you watch the wife sit there signing, and all of a sudden she's got tears rolling down her eyes. I got to do everything I do to hold back, I'm telling you. I can be an emotional guy, and I'm telling you, it's the best feeling in the world. Or they call you up and say, hey, we're having a housewarming party, we'd love to have you come by. So yeah, it's an honor to help the people out, you know. And it's like I had a heart problem, and my heart surgeon, you know, and I told him, I said, you know, thanks for the stent and this and that, and it's been years ago. And I sit there and think, how many people has that guy saved on the table there? And again, what a passion to be able to do that and know that you walk away and it's a life you saved today.
Yeah, I absolutely enjoy that.
So I got 2 more questions, and then I'm going to get.
Yeah.
One, how much longer are you going to be doing this? Because, you know, I think that people out there to watch this go, oh my God, I go buy a house with Vince. You'll make it happen.
You better hurry. Well, my wife tells me I've got to work she tells me I have to work till 67. I'm 63. I want to work till I'm 65, to be frank with you. But I'm licensed in Oregon, Washington, California, Idaho, West Coast kind of thing, pretty much, and working on a couple more as we speak. But it's like my wife. She's 67. She looks like she's 47. If you ever met her, she's stunning.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, she is amazing. I say it not just because she's beautiful, but she's one of those that she'll never hang up her real estate license. She never will. She likes what she does. Now, does that mean we go out and kill ourselves every day and trying to build a huge team and all that? No. So for me, will I ever get out of the business? Probably not. I think I'll always hold my license, and I'll dabble in it, and I'll take the ones that kind of come in, my past clients and some good. And I love first-time home buyers and stuff. And not to be rude for your challenge folks out there, that might be something that I might say, hey, you've got all these multi-properties, REOs and all that. I can still send stuff to my team in here and you still get paid a comp out of it and they can run with it and go from there. So to answer your question, I won't be retiring anytime soon. I just had this discussion with my wife the other night, and
I'm trying to get a sense of urgency here for you.
I was telling Justin
You're
Morris, the
killing me
manager
here, man.
down here, he goes, you're getting out of the business, aren't you? And I go, yeah, I am. And then I talked to the wife, she says, no, you're not. So I guess I'm going to hang around for a little bit more here.
They always say that if you love your work, you're not working a day in your life or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're so passionate about what you do. It might not even really be work for you because you're just enjoying it. It's filling your time and stuff like that.
And we
So
travel a lot too.
Yeah.
And so we go to Maui a lot. We go to Mexico a lot. We go to Florida, South Carolina. We travel a lot, Hong Kong and different places and stuff. And you know what's amazing is I normally don't tell my agents, and this is terrible, and here's a secret now. I normally don't tell my agents, my clients, I'm leaving town.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they freeze up, or it's like the agent goes, Vinny's not around, I'll have to refer my client to another lender. But what's so cool is I can be sitting down in Palm Springs by the swimming pool with that little cold iced tea, wink wink, down there, and I can have my laptop and my phone, and I'm doing business, and nobody'd ever know.
I know we had that conversation while you were in Palm Springs.
I remember I was in Palm Springs.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
right.
I'm in Palm Springs.
Just recently, we're in Palm Springs. Yeah, I said I'm in Palm Springs. Oh, you are, yeah.
By the way, that's called niced tea.
Okay, nice tea. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm the same way because I never let people know. My staff knows that I'm leaving, but I don't put it out there. Like I don't put that picture of my feet at the airport or anything like that. I'm going on a trip, but it's kind of fun because I can still do some business on my laptop, and people have no idea that I'm in Mexico or in Vegas or whatever. So
And the
I
coolest
get that.
thing about it too, you're married to a real estate agent. She gets it. Yeah. She's down there, and guess what? She's getting calls.
Yeah.
Her sister from South Carolina, she's a real estate agent. She's with us, right? Okay. And then at one time, my stepson, my wife's son, was a district manager for farmers, and his wife worked at escrow. So we had all these real estate agents, insurance agents, escrow agents. We were all literally on vacation. And you look like we're all multitasking, doing our own job, sitting by the pool. It's almost gets to be comical sometimes. So,
Do you get that luxury? I'm just kind of curious.
Mike goes on vacation like a ripple in the force. Oh, wait a second, what happened? Because when I go on vacation, my wife is like, "Give me your phone.
oh yeah,
Give me your phone. You're done."
Yeah.
You know, because I'm driving down the road, and my wife is, she's sleeping. What is on your mind? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, I can hear your brain.
Yeah.
I can't even rest over here because it's just the thing going. I'm like, I just was thinking of why they named the RVs the way, so it just never stops.
I think it's that hamster wheel. You need to lubricate it.
Well, see, when you're workaholic, and that's my thing. Clients ask me, "Are you a vampire?" It's crazy. Are you a vampire? I go, "Why?" They go, "I see emails from you at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning."
Yeah.
But see, that's where I am because I'm one of these that I was just talking to Buddy Puckett. He's just an awesome manager down here as well. And Buddy's been in the business 30 years, probably, give or take. And he and I, we clean our email out every day. I just believe in that. When you leave, if you go look at my email, the only thing that's going to show up is what's popped up here.
That is impressive.
And what I do, it's that ODC thing, right? What I do is I actually have files on every client. And so any email that comes in with that client, I drag it into those particular things. Yeah. And then anything that comes up under USDA, VA, FHA, if it's advertising, marketing, I drag it in those folders. So I answer it, I follow it up, it goes into that folder. If I ever need it, I don't have to sit there and scroll down 5,000 emails trying to find out where that email is. I know exactly where it is and I go to it just like that. And the other thing is when I wake up, it's all fresh emails. I start my fresh day, and when I go to bed at night, all my emails are done. And so when I go to sleep, I turn this off. Unlike the squirrel over here, you can turn it off a little bit, and you do get some peace at
I
night
love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with.
You're welcome. It does help. I kid you not.
I'll have to try to do that with my 250 some emails a day. I guess.
And I get that many too. Trust me. There's a lot of delete because we get a lot of delete stuff that we don't need. But again, I'm going to say if I do get 200 to 300 emails, honestly, out of that, I'm going to say 25 to probably 35% of them, they're going into folders and they're things
I love that. Yeah.
Yep.
And my second question was, do you mentor?
Yes.
I mean, do you have because I know that one of the things about doing what we do for as long as we do it is is to pass on that knowledge and just some of those insights and some of the ways you can see things and do that. So I just didn't know if you actually mentored, because I just think it would be a really good thing to have, you know, a mentorship for what you do and how you do it, you know, because I know they got to go to class. I know that all that's got to happen as well, but it really is invaluable to have somebody that has your experience and can see things, think outside the box, and teach those skills, you know. And so I just didn't know if you do mentoring and how vast that would be.
And we do. And you know what's really cool about Guild? I've been with them, it'll be 11 years in October. And like I said, I've been doing this since 98, I don't know, 27, 28 years. But Guild is actually a mentoring team. We mentor between all of us, which is totally amazing. I mean, it's going back and forth. I mean, Buddy can come in and ask me something, or I can go in and ask Don McPherson something, or we can go in and talk to Justin, and he's very knowledgeable, or Kevin, or all these different people that we've got, Melissa and stuff out there. So we do a lot of mentoring there. And then I had a Latino gal, Wilma, that had reached out and said, hey, Vinny, you know, I've been in underwriting loans for years, and it's something I've always had a passion to do. I want to get out from behind my cubicle, and I want to get in the face of people and get that nice feeling of working from start to finish, instead of just underwriting, either deny or approve a loan and move on to the next one. And so, so I brought her in, put her under my wing for a little over a year, and she did very well and took off, and got her mentored, and she's been doing well ever since. And you know, I've been asked to do like some training classes with the city, first-time homebuyer groups and stuff like that. They'll bring in, on a Saturday, they'll bring in like a loan officer, an appraiser, an inspector, an insurance agent, real estate agent, whatever, and each one takes so much time, and we just go through and we actually will sit and mentor that class and educate that class. And I've had people come up and say, hey, what's it take to be a loan officer? And, you know, well, you better have enough money to get through for the first year, because it's a commission-based program and it takes a bit to get off the ground. So I'll just tell you that right off the get-go. But, you know, and it will help anybody that wants to get into the industry. It's a tough time right now.
Yeah.
You know, and you better have a good sphere of influence up, and you better have a bank account, because it's a commission-based business. And so, and that's where I'm used to. My old job as a paint sales, I was commissioned for 20 years. I've been commissioned for 28 years in the mortgage business. I've been commissioned since I was pumping gas at Backdoor Texaco back in the 70s, right? Basically.
I definitely think paying people commission is the best way to go.
Yeah.
If I could pay...
Makes them work.
Yeah, it makes them work, makes them do quality work too,
Yep.
because, you know, coming from the mechanic, I worked as a mechanic for a while, and I was a commissioned mechanic, and you learn to be good and fast.
Yeah.
You know, to make any money, because you get to fix it over if you don't do it right the first
Right,
time
exactly.
for free.
Yes.
And so...
I'd be in the hole if I was commissioned to do my Mustang.
We just saw pictures of him working on his Mustang.
I know, yeah.
Oh, you got that one project done. How long did that take you? I'm like,
I don't want to be the first one to go for riding it. I'm just going to tell you
wow.
I've been getting updates for months on the Mustang. How are you getting? Well, I got another part.
Yeah, I know. When
You
I
know,
look
a
in the
week
back of this
later.
Camaro and in the passenger seat, he's got big rotors in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm cracking up. So.
Yeah, right now I've got a bunch of bearings. And
Yeah.
So we probably got to wrap this up. Do you
Yeah.
have any
Yeah.
other questions?
I don't have any. Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, Vince and I can sit and talk. I mean, that's how come Vince and I get along. We're like
We
two
chat.
I
Wolverines
didn't
inside of
even-
a cage talking.
Yeah, I didn't even get to some of the. I wanted to ask more personal questions, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys.
But thank you for coming on to our show, because this has been fantastic to get to know you more and to see how much passion you have for helping people, and
thank
that's
you.
amazing.
Yeah.
And how knowledgeable you are about it, and how much you put into it.
It's
great.
It is a passion, and I'm happy to just continue on the track that we're on right now, and everything else. And you too, on your business and your business. You guys have done good. I've known you for years, and I just got to meet you here as we got into the group and stuff. And by the way, I complimented on your wife. She's knocking it out of the park with her business. I think that's just awesome. I've been watching that, and I think that's just been a blessing for her and everything else. So
She's amazing.
it is. It's cool how everything evolves. And your story, I know I learned that from the Networks of Salem. And remember, we're looking for people. Networks of Salem.
There you
Pull
go.
up that
Thank you for
website.
plugging the group. Thank you for plugging the group.
Yes.
Networks of Salem.
Yep. It's awesome group,
Get a
I'm
hold
telling
of myself or Vinny, and we can tell you what categories are available.
Yes, exactly.
So-
Yep. So, but yeah, and I appreciate you guys inviting me, and we will be moving. I've mentioned to y'all that we have a brand new office building. We're taking over the old Umpqua Bank down on Ferry Street and Commercial. It's right across from the convention center, right on the corner.
Oh, very good.
Yep. And so Paul, the owner down there, he's actually opened that up instead of one big business. He's making it in like small little businesses throughout there, and we've got the whole right side that we've got. You'll be doing the graphics on that, and even though you just did our new ones out front here.
Now, does that face the convention center?
Yeah, the front of the round part faces towards the convention center, and then the long strip faces the parking lot, kind of across the street, that down there.
Not to plug my business or anything,
Yeah.
but we did all the graphics at convention center.
Yes,
so
that's why I said,
so
yeah.
you can look
That's
at
why-
our graphics.
Yes, Extreme Graphics, yes, did all that out there. And Oddmost does all our lunches or pizzas, yes. So, but yeah, so we'll be moving in there sometime around October. We're really excited. It's being gutted. It's all brand new. So we'll have a new podcast room. And again, I've always told you guys that you're more than, as you've been using our podcast room, it's great. It gives us a little marketing at the same time, but it gives you guys a place to do stuff. But I want to thank you guys for everything, and you as well. I know she was so funny when we started, and she had her back turned. You all couldn't see it. She's over there giggling with her back turned. We're trying to get started, and we all had to get this right face going here. So
Yeah.
and she'll be up next, folks. She's coming up next.
You know what's funny about this is you could be at the first part of our docu-series. Like, this is part one of three shows with Vince.
Yeah. So, but anyway, no, I thank you guys. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you.
We really appreciate you letting us use your podcast room. So
Yeah, no
this
worries.
has been a great
Yeah.
partnership. Thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, audience out there.